Are you confident you know what pleases God? Could your morning habits be unintentionally displeasing Him? Let's uncover 13 little-known things that might be distancing you from God right from the moment you wake up. Before we get into the main content, please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. It's a great motivation for the channel. Thank you so much. Did you know that your morning habits might be distancing you from God without you realizing it? Prepare yourself for a shocking revelation. In today's video, we're going to uncover 13 morning habits that don't please God and that many of us practice daily without knowing. This content promises to transform your spiritual life in just a few minutes. Discover how seemingly harmless actions can sabotage your faith and how small changes can bring great blessings. Stay with us until the end and see how you can start living according to divine principles and experience a peace you never imagined possible. You won't want to miss this. And if you don't want to miss anything, don't forget to subscribe. Let's go. Neglecting the moment of gratitude. Imagine a quiet morning where the first rays of the sun peek through the window, bathing everything in a golden and promising light. In this peaceful setting, you find yourself at the edge of the bed, with thoughts still tangled in the remnants of sleep. For selecting, a choice must be made, one that sets the tone for your day. To take a moment to give thanks or to dive directly into the demands of the day. Here, my friend, lies a divine opportunity, often neglected. Give thanks to the Lord, for He is good. His love endures forever, Psalm 107:1 Son. This verse is not merely a suggestion. It is a call to recognize God's incessant goodness in our daily lives. When we neglect this moment of gratitude, we are not just omitting a healthy practice. We are forgetting to acknowledge the one who is the source of all goodness and mercy. Now let's explore the power of gratitude through a psychological lens. Studies show that starting the day with a feeling of gratitude can significantly elevate your emotional well-being. This activates parts of the brain associated with pleasure and reward, not unlike feeling a comforting warmth spreading within on a cold day. Consider Job, a man whose life was turned upside down, yet he declared, "The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." Psalm 2000. Even in the ashes of loss, Job found a spark to give thanks. Here we see not just resignation, but a profound reverence for God's sovereignty and provision, even when shrouded in mystery. Let me invite you to a simple but transformative practice. Tomorrow morning, take a moment to sit in silence. Think about your blessings, no matter how small. Give thanks for the air you breathe, the light you see, the bread you eat. Give thanks for another day and observe how this small act can change not just your day, but potentially your entire life. For reflection, when was the last time you truly stopped to give thanks for something you consider small or routine? How did it influence your day? Share your experience in the comments. Please proceed with a common bad habit many people encounter in the following content below. Complaining upon waking. When you open your eyes in the morning, you face a critical decision: to welcome the day with gratitude or to start with complaints. Do everything without grumbling or arguing, advises Philippians 2:14. This verse is not just an instruction for harmony, but a principle for cultivating personal peace and alleviating the heart from the burden of negativity. Those first words or thoughts have the power to shape our state of mind and influence our interactions with others. Psychology confirms that starting the day with a negative attitude can harm not only our mood, but also our mental health and efficiency throughout the day. Imagine a scenario where each morning begins not with laments, but with a recognition of the new opportunities each day brings. This simple act of choice has the potential to completely transform our daily experience, elevating our perception of life and strengthening our relationships. Even Jesus, facing his greatest challenge, chose to submit to the Father's will without complaints, demonstrating an unwavering faith in the divine plan despite the imminent pain. Therefore, as we face each new dawn, let us make the conscious choice to cast aside complaints and embrace each day with an open and grateful heart. For reflection, how would your day change if you started each morning with a positive affirmation instead of a complaint? How would this practice affect your interactions with others? Share your reflections in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you didn't, let us know what we can do better in the comments. We're always looking to improve. Those who often complain are also those who frequently overlook the joys of a new day. Explore the following content to understand more. Disregarding small joys. Not valuing the small joys of everyday life is ignoring the subtle blessings that God scatters along our daily path. Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. 1 Thessalonians 5:18. This verse urges us to practice constant gratitude, recognizing and appreciating each moment, even the most trivial ones. By disregarding small pleasures like the warmth of the sun on our skin or a child's smile, we close our eyes to the daily manifestations of God's love. These moments, although small, are fundamental to our emotional and spiritual health, as psychological studies link gratitude to greater happiness and life satisfaction. Imagine starting each day by observing and valuing these small graces. How could this change your life experience? Jesus himself appreciated and highlighted small gestures and encounters, showing that the divine often reveals itself in what is simple and humble. Therefore, I challenge you not only to pass by these small joys, but to recognize them as the divine gifts they are. By doing so, we strengthen our spiritual resilience and find joy even amid the pressures of daily life. For reflection, think of a small joy you recently experienced. How can recognizing and valuing these moments change your attitude toward life? Share your experience in the comments. Ignoring and not caring about those around you is also a bad habit to give. Find out why below. Ignoring helping others. Ignoring someone in need not only contradicts the commandment to love our neighbor, but also obscures the light of compassion that should guide our daily steps. Carry each other's burdens, and in this way, you will fulfill the law of Christ. To Galatians 6:2. This verse is not a suggestion, but a direct call to action, a commandment to extend a helping hand to those in need, by indifferently passing by someone who is suffering, whether on the street, at work, or even within our homes. We deny one of the most fundamental principles of the gospel. This indifference can harden our hearts and divert us from the path God has laid out for us, leading to desensitization and emotional isolation. Consider the parable of the Good Samaritan, a man who, unlike others, did not ignore the victim by the roadside. He not only stopped, but also tended to the stranger's wounds and provided for his recovery. Jesus used this story to illustrate the true meaning of loving your neighbor. Luke 10:37. Our lives are full of Samaritan moments, small and large opportunities to extend a hand. Each decision to help is an affirmation of our faith and a test of the love of Christ that lives within us. These acts of kindness echo into eternity, bringing light not only to those who receive the help, but also to our own souls. Therefore, as we begin each day, let us commit to not passing indifferently by those in need. Let us be ready to extend a hand, aware that each gesture of love is a reflection of God's love for us. When was the last time you had the opportunity to help someone, and what did you do? How did this act influence your own life? Share your stories and reflections in the comments. Continuing a very small habit below that many people fail to do, you will truly regret knowing this. Procrastinating commitments or prayers. Procrastinating our responsibilities or moments of communion with God is a violation of the principle found in Proverbs 13:4. The soul of the sluggard craves and gets nothing, while the soul of the diligent is richly supplied. When we delay commitments or prayers, we not only disrespect our own time and that of others, but also fail to cultivate the discipline that strengthens our faith and reduces our stress and anxiety. Imagine yourself as a farmer who looks at the field and decides to postpone the sowing. As days go by, the seeds remain in their sack, never finding the fertile soil. The result? A lost harvest, not for lack of resources, but for lack of action. Similarly, every moment of procrastination is a lost fertile ground where we could have cultivated something valuable. This habit of delaying can be especially detrimental when it comes to our spiritual life. The relation of a moment of prayer is an opportunity to realign with God, a chance to lay down our anxieties and receive His peace. Cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you. 1 Peter 5:7. Ignoring these moments is ignoring the care that God is ready to offer. Therefore, let us begin each day not with the hesitation of procrastination, but with the resolution to act. Let each commitment and each moment of prayer be seen not as a burden, but as a precious opportunity for growth and communion with the Creator. For reflection, how has procrastination impacted your spiritual and daily life? What changes can you make to combat this habit and live a more diligent and intentional life? Share your reflections in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you didn't, let us know what we can do better in the comments. We're always looking to improve. Next is a bad habit that most of us are currently trapped in. If you can quit it, you're amazing. Speaking ill of others. Speaking ill of others is a poison that, once released, spreads quickly, destroying relationships and poisoning environments. Warned in Ephesians 4:2-9, do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. Starting the day with gossip or criticism not only corrupts our own heart, but also devalues those around us. Imagine a morning where, instead of words of encouragement, you choose to spread malicious comments. Each negative word is like a stone thrown into a tranquil lake. The ripple spread, affecting everyone within reach. This act not only distances others, but reflects a deep disconnection from the divine purpose for our words and actions. Jesus called us to be the light of the world, reflecting truth and love in our speech and actions. By speaking ill of others, we deny this call and contribute to darkness instead of dispelling it. Out of the same mouth come praise and cursing. My brothers and sisters, this should not be. Therefore, let us strive to ensure that our words are instruments of blessing, not cursing. Let us begin each day deciding to use our speech to build up rather than to destroy, conscious that every word has the power to shape realities and transform hearts. For reflection, what impact do your words have on your environment? Have you been using your speech to build up or to tear down? Think of ways you can change your communication habits to more clearly reflect the love of Christ. Share your ideas and commitments in the comments. God always wants you to value family, so let's look at the next content. Being impatient with family. Impatience in morning interactions can undermine the harmony and love that should characterize our homes, as taught in 1 Corinthians 13:4. Love is patient love when we allow impatience to dominate our family moments. We not only contradict this commandment, but also plant seeds of discord and discomfort in our most intimate environment. Imagine a typical morning where the pressures of time and daily obligations press upon each family member. In this scenario, a harsh word or a hasty response can deeply hurt those we love. These are the moments when the virtue of patience is most needed and, paradoxically, often hardest to practice. Psychologically, impatience not only causes immediate tension but can leave lasting scars on relationships, especially on the young and impressionable minds of children. Each moment of impatience acts like sandpaper, slowly wearing down the bonds of trust and security that underpin family life. Therefore, let each parent, sibling, or relative remember to take a deep breath on hectic mornings, seeking the patience that comes from God. Let us see each interaction as an opportunity to demonstrate the love that always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. And was Corinthians 13:7. For reflection, so how has patience, or the lack thereof, shaped your family relationships? Is there a recent situation where patience could have transformed a conflict into a moment of growth? Share your experience and think about how you can cultivate more patience in your daily interactions with your family. Leave your response in the comments. The habit of laziness in exercising and neglecting health that we are about to address below is also common among many people. Neglecting physical health. Neglecting physical health is neglecting a divine mandate, for our body is a temple of the Holy Spirit, as taught in 1 Corinthians 6:19-20. This neglect is not only a lack of respect for ourselves, but a disrespect for God's work in us. Psychologically, not caring for our bodies can lead to low self-esteem and reduce our daily energy, affecting our ability to fully live the life God has given us. Imagine that each morning is a new opportunity to honor God with your body. Each choice, from nutrition to physical activity, is not just an act of self-care, but an act of worship. Neglecting this responsibility can not only diminish our effectiveness in serving others, but also hinder our full experience of the joy and vigor God desires for us. Throughout Scripture, we see a call to use our bodies for God's glory, whether in work, ministry, or rest. When we fail to care for our health, we limit our ability to respond to this call with the maximum of our energy and abilities. Therefore, let us see each day as an opportunity to renew our commitment to caring for the body God has entrusted to us, whether through choosing nutritious foods, dedicating time to physical exercise, or ensuring adequate rest. Each action can be an expression of gratitude for the life we have received. For reflection, how have you been caring for your body as a temple of the Lord? Are there changes you could implement in your routine to better honor this divine gift? Share your reflections and possible commitments in the comments. Consuming excessive negative news. Flooding your mind with negative news upon waking can instill a persistent state of fear and anxiety, contrary to the exhortation of Philippians for youthful Nate. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. By saturating our first moments of the day with the world's turmoil, we invite unrest to settle in our hearts and minds, impairing our ability to live according to the peace that Christ offers. Imagine starting each day, not with reports of disasters and despair, but with words of hope and affirmations of faith. Each morning, by choosing what we fill our minds with, we are essentially choosing the direction for our spirit and the emotions that will color our day. Scripture reminds us that a cheerful heart is good medicine, Proverbs 7:22, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. By consciously choosing to step away from excessive consumption of negative news and focusing on content that builds and restores, we are not only caring for our mental health, but also adhering to a biblical principle that leads us to the fullness of life God desires for us. Therefore, I encourage everyone to reevaluate how and with what we start our days. Let us make choices that reflect our faith and values, choices that prepare us to face the day's challenges with a calm mind and a heart strengthened by the truth of the gospel. How does consuming news affect your morning state of mind and interactions throughout the day? What steps can you take to ensure your mind is nourished with what is true, noble, and praiseworthy? Share your strategies and reflections in the comments. Neglecting family time. Neglecting morning moments with family can slowly erode the foundations upon which our homes are built. Ephesians 6:4 instructs us, "Fathers, do not exasperate your children. Instead, bring them up in the training and instruction of the Lord." This implies not only guidance and discipline, but also the continual offering of our time and attention, crucial elements for strengthening family bonds and nurturing the emotional and spiritual well-being of our loved ones. Imagine a morning where, instead of rush and hurried goodbyes, there is a reserved space for conversations, for listening and being heard, for sharing concerns and joys. Each such moment is a seed planted in the garden of family relationships, which, over time, will blossom into trust and closeness. The Bible offers us many examples of families who, despite their imperfections, found strength in the bonds cultivated through presence and sharing. By neglecting these moments, we risk widening the chasm of isolation and misunderstandings that so often invade modern relationships. Therefore, let us make presence a pillar in our family life. Let not the demands and distractions of the world rob us of the precious morning beginnings with those whom God has entrusted us to love and guide. Let each morning be a new opportunity to build a legacy of love, presence, and divine guidance in our home. 6. What impact would it have on your family if you dedicated more time to them in the mornings? How can you adjust your routine to prioritize these precious moments? Share your ideas and commitments in the comments. Being stingy. Stinginess, a heart closed to the needs of others, is a direct barrier against the generosity God calls us to practice. For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. Some people, eager for money, have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. 1 Timothy 6:9. This warning not only highlights the spiritual dangers of greed, but also reminds us of how generosity can free our souls and truly connect us with the community and with God. Imagine a life where every opportunity to give is seen as a burden, not as a blessing. This perspective not only impoverishes those in need of help, but also the stingy person who deprives themselves of the joy that comes from sharing generously. The act of giving then becomes a channel of mutual blessings, enriching both the giver and the receiver. Jesus taught that it is more blessed to give than to receive, Acts 20:35. And this truth resonates not only in scriptures, but in the depths of our human experience. Generosity breaks the chains of selfishness and plants the seeds of a more loving and supportive community. Therefore, let us examine our hearts and our habits. Let stinginess not find fertile ground in our lives, but let each day be an opportunity to open our hands and hearts to give generously, reflecting God's love and provision for us. For reflection, how might stinginess be limiting your experience of joy and fellowship? Are there areas in your life where you can practice more generosity? Share a moment when giving brought unexpected joy to your life in the comments. Giving in to discouragement. Allowing discouragement to dominate your mornings is to walk in the opposite direction of the encouragement found in Romans 12. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. When discouragement embraces us early in the day, it can overshadow the light of hope that God has instilled in each of us, potentially leading to a persistent depressive state. Imagine starting the day with a heavy curtain of discouragement covering your heart and mind. This veil darkens the view of blessings and possibilities that each new day brings. Psychologically, we know that this state can reinforce negative thought cycles, affecting our mental and emotional health and hindering our ability to see and respond to the opportunities God places before us. Persevere offers us an alternative. Perseverance amid adversity, a resilience rooted in faith. Each morning, we have the choice to clothe ourselves in this perseverance, to reject discouragement and embrace the hope that is not based on circumstances but on the certainty of God's eternal and unchanging love. Therefore, let us awaken each day with a decision to combat discouragement. Let us hold on to hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure, and allow ourselves to be inspired by God's constant presence in our lives, which promises strength and continual renewal. How can you actively combat discouragement in your daily life? What practices or thoughts can help you stay focused on the hope that God offers? Share your strategies or a testimony of how you overcame discouragement through faith in the comments. Failing to plan the day. Not adequately planning the day is to devalue the precious gift of time that God has given us. Ephesians 5:16 warns us, be very careful then how you live. Not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. When we fail to organize our day, we often end up wasting opportunities that God places in our path for growth, service, and witness. Imagine yourself as a builder tasked with constructing a house without a clear plan. The materials remain scattered, and the work becomes chaotic and inefficient. Similarly, without planning our day, our activities can become disorganized, and our ability to fully accomplish what has been entrusted to us is compromised. Lack of planning not only leads to an unproductive day, but also feeds stress and anxiety as we find ourselves constantly in a state of reaction instead of proactive action. This is not the abundant life that Christ promised. He desires that we live with purpose and intention, making the best use of the time we have been given. Therefore, let each morning begin with a moment of reflection and planning. Let us ask God for wisdom to order our priorities for the day and strength to accomplish each task. Let our planning not just be an exercise in organization, but an expression of our faith and an act of obedience to the divine call to live wisely and intentionally. For reflection, how could more intentional planning transform your day and increase your effectiveness in serving God and others? What changes can you implement to ensure that each day is lived fully according to God's will? Share your thoughts and commitments in the comments. Superficiality in relationships. Interracial relationships directly contradict Christ's command. My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. John 15:12. When we choose superficiality over depth in our relationships, we not only deny Christ's command, but also the possibility of experiencing and sharing the love he exemplified. Imagine a tree with shallow and fragile roots. It may appear strong at first glance, but it lacks the necessary foundation to withstand storms. Similarly, superficial relationships may seem sufficient in calm times, but fail to provide support and comfort when most needed. This superficiality can lead to loneliness and isolation, preventing us from achieving the true fellowship that reflects the intimate and transformative relationship God desires to have with us. Moreover, from a psychological perspective, investing in deep relationships is directly linked to our emotional and spiritual well-being. Studies show that meaningful relationships increase our resilience against stress and improve our overall health. Therefore, let us view each interaction as a divine opportunity to plant seeds of deep and lasting love. Let us not settle for the superficiality that the world often offers, but seek to cultivate relationships that reflect the unconditional love of Christ, who knows and loves each of us deeply. How can you cultivate greater depth in your relationships to truly reflect Christ's love? Is there a relationship in your life that needs more attention and care to grow in depth and meaning? Share your reflections and plans in the comments. Neglecting spiritual disciplines like meditation, prayer, and Bible study is a direct rejection of the appeal in 2 Peter 1:5-7, which exhorts us to supplement our faith with virtue, and virtue with knowledge, and knowledge with self-control, and self-control with perseverance, and perseverance with godliness. Without regular practice of these disciplines, our faith can become stagnant and our connection with God weakened. Imagine a plant that is never watered or exposed to sunlight. Over time, it begins to wither and eventually dies. Similarly, our spiritual life requires constant nourishment through practices that connect us with God and reinforce our faith. Psychologically, regular engagement in spiritual practices not only strengthens our emotional resilience, but also enhances our life perspective, making us more capable of facing adversities with hope and courage. Each day that we set aside these practices, we are in fact choosing to distance ourselves from the source of our strength and hope. This decision impacts not only our spiritual well-being, but also all areas of our life, as faith significantly influences our mental and emotional health. Therefore, let each of us recognize the vital importance of maintaining a routine of spiritual disciplines, not as an obligation, but as a privilege that allows us to live more fully in God's presence and grow in conformity with His will. Reflection. How has the regularity of your spiritual practices influenced your daily life and your resilience in the face of challenges? Are there aspects of your spiritual discipline that need to be revitalized or strengthened? Share your experiences and commitments to enhance your spiritual life in the comments. Wasting talents and resources. Failing to utilize the gifts and resources God has given us is a failure to fulfill the divine expectation revealed in the parable of the talents, Matthew 25:14-30. This parable is not just a story. It is a command to act with responsibility, and wasting our talents and resources not only dishonors God, but also deprives us of reaching our full potential and contributing effectively to the community and God's kingdom. Imagine that every talent and resource you possess is a tool given by God designed to build, create, and cultivate good in your life and the lives of others. When these tools are left unused, the world loses some of its brightness. The contributions that could have been made remain invisible, and the purpose that could have been fulfilled remains unfinished. From a psychological perspective, activating and utilizing our talents not only elevates self-esteem, but also promotes a deep sense of accomplishment and purpose. This practice is not only beneficial for us individually, it also enriches those around us, reflecting God's love and generosity through our actions. Therefore, let us view our talents and resources not as mere possessions and skills, but as sacred gifts entrusted to us by God. Let each day be an opportunity to invest these gifts in glorifying God and serving others, thus fulfilling God's divine purpose for our lives. For reflection, what talents or resources have you been neglecting? How can you begin to use them in a way that honors God and contributes to the well-being of your community? Share your ideas or action plans in the comments. This video highlights key lessons that can be practically applied to enhance both your spiritual and daily life. One significant lesson is the importance of starting your day with gratitude and prayer. By dedicating the first moments of your morning to thanking God and seeking His guidance, you set a positive and grounded tone for the day. This practice not only brings you closer to God, but also fosters a mindset of thankfulness and peace, helping you to navigate daily challenges with grace and resilience. Another crucial lesson is prioritizing your physical and mental well-being. Incorporating habits such as healthy eating, regular exercise, and consuming uplifting content can transform your mornings. Instead of being overwhelmed by negativity or unhealthy routines, these positive habits help you to start the day feeling energized and focused. By taking care of your body and mind, you honor the temple of the Holy Spirit and equip yourself to serve others more effectively. These small but meaningful changes can lead to a more fulfilling and spiritually enriched life, allowing you to fully experience the joy and purpose that God intends for you. Conclusion: adopting morning habits that align with God's teachings not only enriches our spiritual journey, but also enhances our daily lives. By prioritizing gratitude, prayer, and holistic well-being, we honor God and set a positive tone for each day. Let these practices guide you to a life filled with purpose, peace, and spiritual fulfillment, reflecting God's love in all that you do.